Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maxima and I'm here checking out Dungeon Punks. This came to PS4 just a little bit ago and now it's Vita's turn. So, I've been playing this for about 2 hours at this point. I've got all the party members except one of them and I don't really need to see the last one. Let's just hop right into our game, shall we? So, yeah, did I say it was 2 hours? I'm pretty sure I did, but yeah, anyway, 2 hours in and I'm on the 4th level. There's a fair few. One of these... Oh, yeah, there it is. Look around map. So if we look around the map, you can see that there's about 12 levels. So I've been through about a quarter of the levels so far. And instead of wasting your time going through all the menus and stuff, we'll just head to battle. We can't actually look at the options in here. So I don't know why that is, but there we go. We can pick one of the 5 warriors to go with. I'm going to play as the dwarf and the knight for this one, because they are the 2 I'm most comfortable with, but we do have the other heroes automatically get assigned as AI companions. Oddly enough, there's no multiplayer on the Vita version proper. On the PlayStation TV, you can play 3-player local, but on the Vita, stuff all, not even ad hoc. So, if you're like me and playing this on a Vita, well, we're just going to be playing by ourselves, aren't we? So let's get to battle. Thankfully, once the initial load into the level is done, it doesn't really need to load again. So I just got to give it a few seconds. And here we go. So this is Dungeon Punks. If you've played Dragon's Crown before, you have a rough idea of how this goes, but the idea is that it's a 2D-ish brawler where you have to kill everything in order to earn experience, money, and treasure to improve your peoples with. And that's just how it goes, and it just keeps going like that, and I got stunned because god damn it. So the combat is very simple. Extremely simple, in fact. Your main attack is on your X button. That's it. It's a 3-hit combo, and this combo is exactly the same for everyone that's involved. The mages have it, the swordsmen have it, everybody has this 3-hit combo. However, the 3-hit combo charges up your mana, which is the blue bar underneath the red bar on... let me try that again. Which is the blue bar underneath the red bar above my guy there, my dwarf. And mana is what you use to unleash special attacks. Every character has 3 unique spells of their own. That was one of them. That was the... I can't remember what the bloody hell it's called. But yeah, basically I just jump forward and beat the shit out of some people. I also have a couple of other spells. We'll just move on to the next room. We can come here to talk to this guy. There are some merchants throughout the levels. This guy will upgrade our weapons, but I don't really have the gold for it, so there's no point, obviously. And the way the loot system works in this game is not... Actually, it isn't really that strange, but I'll explain later once I'm outside of this level for the first time. But yeah, as I was saying, we each have... Every class has 3 different spells. That was my second one. We also have a rage attack, so if I hit X and circle at the same time, it'll do something that'll hit every enemy in the area. And that rage attack actually froze everybody, so we were able to hit them easier. We do also have a block move and a dodge move. The dodge move is also unique to all the character classes. All the character classes are also rated differently in terms of their strength, which determines their attack power, their speed, which determines how fast they move, obviously, and their magic power, which determines how... Brain, work with me here. And their magic power, which determines how much damage they do with their magic attacks. Unfortunately, it seems that strength-focused characters are basically useless, because the magic attacks do so much damage over so much time. Oh, there's also a 4th magic attack that you can have, which is determined by the weapon you're carrying, which is also kind of nice, but there you go. You can also ride around on dejected little birds, and it basically serves as a second health bar, and you move really freaking slow on this thing. It's like you're moving on ice. It's kind of silly. So yeah, magic focus characters are a lot more useful in this game than your typical strength focus characters, because your strength focus characters can't really do that much. Sure, they've got their own unique spells and stuff to use, but it's just, yeah. You are much more useful with a bunch of useful spells than you are with just the same 3-hit combo over and over again. The main idea is that you're meant to... Sorry, I got something stuck in my throat. If the idea is that you're meant to, with your co-op teammates here, basically get enemies into, basically, stun locks? Just constant stun locks. That's the idea. So, you're meant to take all 3 of your mates and just beat on a guy until he dies. Fucking crow. I hate those things. Yeah, basically you just beat on them until they die. That's the general idea. Which means that if you have a lot of spells to use that you can charge, they're definitely more useful. I didn't want to go this way. I wanted to head out the other way, because I'm going to want to show off the big boss fight if I can. There are also quests that you can pick up. They'll give you XP and money. Your XP is your souls count that you can see in the top left there. And, ow. And you can also see how much treasure you've collected. I don't think I've actually seen one yet. You do also have your tag teammate, but again, it's the same deal. 4 spells. Same 3-hit combo attack. You'll spawn in if, brain. You can tag in using the circle button. And the teammate that's not tagged in will get their mana back as they go. A level 10 shield. Jesus, really? Ow. I wanted to try and get that health potion, but it disappeared, because of course it did. You do have to tag out from time to time to rescue your buddies, but for some reason this guy just ain't dying, and of course I get hit by the goddamn thing. I really do need to learn to block a little more in this game. It is actually quite useful. Should probably be back over there helping my mates out. But yeah, this is basically Dungeon Punks. I was trying to get out of the way of that. Keyword being trying. This is basically it. I've been playing for 2 hours, and this is basically how the entire game goes. The problem is that... Ow. The problem is that now that all my guys are low on health, and you don't get health back very easily, because the only way you can really restore your health is to get the game's health potions. But to get the game's health potions, they just need to drop. You just need to get them randomly. Which is kind of frustrating, because there's no way to actually, like, buy potions and take them along with you. Thankfully, we can just, like, run past all of these guys. Or can we? No, we can't, actually. A little unfortunate. The controls aren't as smooth as they could be, either. They feel purposefully delayed, which I guess in a brawler makes some kind of sense, but it isn't exactly the most pleasant thing in the world. But anyway, let me go through the cycle of how this works. All our guys are low on health, we don't have health potions, we can't find a way to recover our health, so we have to leave. That's basically the only choice we have. If we run out of health, we will lose some of our experience and gold, but we won't lose all of it, but at the same time, you might as well leave at that point, because you can just haul ass back to the nearest exit if you feel like it. But anyway, you get all your stuff, you level up. Sometimes you don't level up, but you don't need to level up in order to gain a stat boost. You'll just get stats, like, no matter what you're doing, basically, if you level up or not. So you can always be improving, which is kind of nice. Once you get some level ups in, you'll get spell books, and these spell books let you buy weapons. Not weapons, spells. And when you buy a spell, or you can buy its upgraded form, you can get better versions of those spells, basically. They're just better versions. They don't cost any more mana, because you have, like, 3 mana uses maximum. It doesn't matter what spell you decide to use. And that's basically it, really. That's basically how that works. Now, you come and have a look at the items that you've got here. Unfortunately, this shield is fucking useless. And this weapon is also quite useless, so we can just sell these immediately. And gold in this game is actually pretty useful, because buying items is a really good idea. Especially for some particular people, because generally, when you're getting equipment, you won't get enough to outfit your entire party at once, and you have to outfit basically your entire party at once. So, you have, if using your gold to buy weapons and shields is actually a really good idea. The equipment made a game isn't exactly that impressive, though, at least so far. I mean, the best bonuses they've given me right now are 14 strength, 18 extra health, yada yada yada, 10 extra magic power. Honestly, I don't even know why I've got that on this guy, because his magic isn't the best, but, well, then again, that's probably a good reason to keep the magic power on there, but there you go. So yeah, that is basically the thing, because once you run low on health, you have to exit the level, and you have to go back in and do it all over again. You just keep doing that over and over until you've got enough health, enough powerful enough equipment, etc, 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 to get to the boss and beat the boss. And this is basically how you'll be spending the entire game, because I had to spend almost an hour grinding on the Volaglad village just to do that. And now I'm up to the floating isles, and I have to do it again, basically. There's no point going back to the Volaglad village, because you won't get any useful items. So, the only choice I really have right now is to go back into battle with the... Well, I'll just bring along these two, because why not? The only option I have is just to go through the same level over and over again. It's not like Dragon's Crown, where it's balanced well enough that you can go through every single level basically... Well, not so much basically... not so much in a row, but at the same time, considering that I have to repeat levels in this game several times in order to get equipment that's good enough to continue, it's just a little bit disappointing, honestly, because you just have to spend so much time playing the same levels and repeating the same enemies and bosses. Slowly getting better, like, don't get me wrong, you will get better, however slowly. And considering that you get stats no matter if you level up or not, it is, you know, it's not like it's trying to keep you from leveling up, you know, keeping you from getting stat ups or anything like that. You're just constantly improving, which is it's a nice little thing, but it just gets frustrating having to fight the same area 4 or 5 times in order to actually get to the next stage. When you've got a game like Dragon's Crown that lets you improve, that doesn't let you improve constantly, that's this game. When you've got a game like Dragon's Crown which constantly lets you move on to new areas while still keeping the strength in check, it just seems a little bit disappointing. Maybe I wouldn't have so much of a problem with it if I was actually capable of playing this with other people, but this game doesn't have online multiplayer. I mean, obviously I wouldn't find anyone playing it yet because it's pre-release technically, but I just find that the game is unsatisfying playing by myself because the AI companions aren't the smartest tools in the shed. They can keep themselves alive, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, they are pretty stupid at different points. Because you end up... You end up getting separated from them. Like, sometimes it's my fault, but they tend to just wander off on their own instead of actually doing something along the lines of sticking together and chaining their combos together and stuff like that. I imagine that 3, like, reasonably, like, capable players would be capable of being absolutely fine at sticking together, getting all their chains in, and just keeping the entire room just paralyzed while I go around and beat the shit out of everything. And doing that basically isn't as satisfying as it sounds, because the main weapon hits aren't really that satisfying. I mean, they're alright, they do the job, it's not something that the game can sustain itself on in solo play entirely, especially when you've got to deal with the idea that your 3 teammates might actually end up going down. It's just frustrating trying to play this game single player sometimes, really. And again, you can't play multiplayer. There's no online multiplayer, there's no ad hoc multiplayer. People who have PlayStation TVs can play locally, but that's it, basically. Quite frustrating. I mean, if you've got a PlayStation TV, congratulations, he's your Lord and Savior. But it's just really disappointing to see that something that would benefit so much from online play just won't benefit from online play, or even ad hoc. I hate those goddamn birds. I'll take that health potion. I'll hop on the bird if I can get on it, please. There we go. So yeah, if you're playing this by yourself, you're going to be spending an absolute ton of time trying to just grind up your fellas, make them strong enough to get through the game's levels without all conking over and dying. And just doing that over and over again on every level until you're sufficiently powered up. And considering how samey the different classes are, they just use different spells, and the spells themselves aren't exactly interesting either. I mean, sure, they're basic, but being basic doesn't really help. And again, the 3 character classes are so similar with very similar kinds of attacks for their main physical attacks, and just the spells all being roughly the same, more or less. Just they all act differently, don't get me wrong, but they basically have the same effects, and playing one character class isn't really that different from playing another character class. Not really, anyway. I like the idea of the tag teaming, but again, with the lack of health potions and stuff going on, it just isn't that interesting after a while. It's just, you just get frustrated slowly but surely. And you can hold square to see what all your weapon attacks are. Bloody hell. Oh, we can leave now. Okay. Better get out of here. Yeah, this AI is actually kind of stupid. It'll walk into, It's so stupid that it'll walk into things like bonfires that are just standing there even when there's no enemies around and hurt themselves. They're kind of frustrating. It's a decent idea and it's got the basics down, but it just doesn't do anything that's special, Dungeon Bucks, basically. It's not as enjoyable as I would have hoped. More physical attacks, maybe diversify the classes a bit so they basically aren't just, like, stat swaps of each other. I've almost got a fully charged rage attack, but I'm going to save that for the boss because the chances are I'm going to need it. Oh, would you look at that? We probably aren't going to make it to the goddamn boss because all my guys are just... They're just, at the moment, they're just useless. That's basically the problem. Come on. Right, I have to give my healing potion to my guy and take this guy out as fast... Take these guys out as fast as possible. I will show off a boss fight one way or another. Going up. Right. I am probably going to die on this boss fight, but I will show off what they're like. But if you've been watching so far, you'll have a rough idea of what's going on. Jin has 0 HP, of course he does. Let's go. So this is the boss. They're just bigger and hit harder. That's basically it. And the idea is you just gotta try and beat the shit out of them. Without running out of health yourself, obviously. I do kind of like the idea of the mana management system. You know, your special abilities are powered by mana, and you earn the mana by ow. You earn mana by beating up enemies, and that's how you get your special attacks powered up. But yeah, it's still not as interesting as I would have hoped. So yeah, we still get to keep some of the stats that we got. Well, most of them, actually. And then it sends us back to the lobby, and we have some gold that we can spend if we've got anything that's worth buying. Wait, no. I want to go back to the shop. We do have some gold to spend if we can find something that's worth it, but yeah, it's just not very interesting, honestly. I mean, I could easily recommend Dragon's Crown over this any day, just because it's got online co-op and the classes are actually different. This game, it's competent. I don't hate it entirely. Yeah, as you can see, it goes all the way down to like level 40 or something, but while I'm not like too annoyed about it, at the same time, it's really samey. There's no diversification in the classes that really seems to matter. And you have to replay all the levels a few times over in order to get you guys strong enough to actually last long enough to win. And you have to just... yeah. And you can't play online with your friends because they decide not to put that in. I don't really think the Vita version is worth it. If you have a PS TV and 3 friends to play with, then it might be worth your time, but at that point you might as well just get out Dragon's Crown on the PS3, because that'd be the sort of controller you're using for this sort of thing. Because Dragon's Crown is just overall better than this game, it really is. The loot is more interesting, the attacks are more interesting. The level progression doesn't force you to stop every now and again, but then again, it might not force me to stop if I'm playing with friends, but I can't know because I'm on the Vita. But yeah, that's basically all I've got to say about it. So, this has been Blue Maxima playing Dungeon Punks. This will be out in a couple of days, and I wouldn't recommend buying it. I mean, if you're looking for something just to keep you occupied, then, you know, it might be worth $10 or something, but I don't know how much this is going to cost when it comes out. Probably cost like $15. Oh well. I'll see you all next time.